YouTube, what's going on, y'all? I owe you all a video. So I do my best to give my long form videos on YouTube, and I do the short form over on TikTok. So on YouTube, you guys kind of get a more in-detailed lesson, while I do a quicker breakdown on TikTok. With all of that being said, today I did a TikTok about friends, right? How many of us have them? Friends, ones we can't depend on. But I didn't get the chance to give that same thing back to YouTube. And so here I am, I'm gonna do it today. All that being said, there is a verse in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, where God gives the principle about friendship. And he said that he who has friends must first show himself friendly, but there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. And we learn a couple things from that verse, that book. Number one is that he who has friends must first show himself friendly, which means that a person that is not a friendly person will never have actual friends. Okay, so that's the first principle, that only friendly people end up with friends, right? For a person that has friends, they must first show themselves friendly. You don't get friends just because you want them. You get friends because you've first proven yourself as one. That's the first step, right? But there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. The second part of that principle is this: that you can achieve a level of friendship that is closer to you than even your own family, that is in higher regard than somebody you would call your brother, your father, your mother. So God then lays a principle out for you, saying that there is a level of friendship that is greater than blood, greater than family. And for some of y'all, if anybody out there agrees with me, my dad used to hate when I would say this. I would always say that family means nothing to me. Blood is blood. Blood is blood, right? We share the same blood. Congratulations. What means a lot to me is someone that shares the same mind and same spirit as me. That to me means more than something that shares the same blood. And I was asked, why would I say that? Some of y'all might agree, some of y'all might not. I'm okay with that, but I do want to explain the whole principle, and I want to kind of lay a foundation before I move forward. So why do I say that? The first time I was ever called out of my name was not by somebody outside of my blood, right? It was by people that call themselves family. The first time I was ever called stupid, dumb, whatever the case may be, was by family, right? The first time I've ever witnessed violence, right, was within my own family. And so for some of y'all, maybe you've been through the same thing, you know, whether it be on a small scale or on a higher scale. While in family, you kind of learn all the nuances of negative situations while you're in it, you know. And so you realize real quickly that family is one thing, friends are another. And so some of you guys might have friends out there that you talk to even more than you talk to your relatives. You'll probably avoid a family reunion, but a get together with your friends, you will have no problem going. So Proverbs 18, there's a friend that shows himself friendly, but there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. So the two principles in that is that, number one, you must first show yourself friendly to have friends. Secondly, that there is a level of friendship that supersedes or goes above, quote unquote, family relationships. Now, what exactly does that look like? Number one, the word friend in the Hebrew is the word ahab. And ahab is a friend that God is speaking about right here. And it means to have love for, an affinity for, whether it be sexually or outside of sexuality, but is a deep affection for someone, a deep love for someone. I like to tell people that friendship requires love. Love doesn't always require friendship. Okay? Which means that God labels some people as a friend of God, while he loved everyone. He did not, I don't want to say he loved everyone. That's another teacher for another story, another day. But God loved a lot of people that he wasn't friends with. So you can love without being friends, but you cannot call yourself a friend without love. Ugh. Right? Take that one to the bank. Right? You can love without being friends, but you cannot have an ahab without love. You cannot have a friend without love. What does that type of a relationship look like? What does that level of friendship look like? Well, 1 Samuel chapter 18 gives us a glimpse into the level the deepest level that a friendship can go. It's two males. One was named David, who you guys probably already know, whether you go to church or not, doesn't matter. But King David in the Bible. And at the time, he was serving under the then king Saul. Saul had a son whose name was Jonathan. All right. So as David is kind of helping out around the kingdom, he's warring, he's fighting battles, blah, 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 blah. Him and Jonathan get really close. So close that in 1 Samuel 18, the Bible says that David and Jonathan make a covenant with each other. And in that covenant, they vow to one another to love one another as if they were the same soul. The term soul means mind, will, and emotion, right? The seat of your emotions, the appetite of your emotions. So with that being said, it means that by definition, Jonathan loved David as if David was him, right? Jonathan had an affection for David as if David was no different from him. So therefore, the covenant that they had, the friendship that they had, they would never want to see the other one hurt, because by definition, seeing the other one hurt would be the equivalent of them hurting. Anybody got a friend like that? Do you have? Let me just keep going, because that's another story in itself. Because it's very difficult nowadays to have that level of friendship. Can I go further? It's very difficult to have that level of relationship with your kids. Can I go further? It's very difficult to have that level of love in your marriage. Can I go further? It's very difficult to have that level of relationship, doggone it, with anybody. You don't see that level of friendship, of you don't see that level of companionship anymore, where someone is like, listen, harming you harms me, so I won't harm you because I wouldn't want to see myself harmed. It is the same principle used in the New Testament for a husband that loves his wife, and says, the Bible says that that husband would never want to harm her because he wouldn't want to hurt his own flesh. Okay? With that, all of that being said and done, as far as David and Jonathan go, the story continues on where Jonathan's father, Saul, is going after David to kill him. Now I want you to remember that Jonathan did not know David longer than he knew Saul. Right? Saul's his dad. He knew his dad forever. And Jonathan was the dude that just came into the kingdom and was working underneath his dad. Okay? Yet, when his dad was getting ready to kill David, Jonathan goes and warns him and says, hey, my dad's finna try to kill you. You need to run. I'm gonna send a signal to let you know when to get up out of here. Okay? Now, David was also after his sister, you know, it was a whole thing there, right? But even with all of that, it didn't change the relationship that Jonathan had with David. So Jonathan warns David, even against his father's wishes, even against his father's goals, and says, you need to get up out of here. Like, you need to run now. So my question for you today is this. Do you have a friend and a hob that loves you like they love themselves? What does that look like? It's very easy to call somebody your friend because y'all went out and y'all watch movies together. You know, y'all laugh at stuff. You play basketball, you know, you spend time together and talk on the phone. That's cool. But if you really want to be honest, how many of y'all really still got friends that you used to play basketball with, that you went to the movies with, that you grew up with? I would venture to say we probably still got maybe 2 or 3 of those, but we haven't kept a majority of them. And out of the 2, 3, 4 that maybe you still have from a lower grade or when you were in high school or whatever the case may be, out of that number of what you call friends, how many of them really love you to the point where they would even go against their own family to make sure you were okay? Can I go further? How many of you all are in a relationship with somebody, boyfriend, girlfriend, that the love is so deep? And I'm not talking about them stupid relationships, y'all. Let me correct something real quick. Not those dumb relationships where you got a man that's being physically abusive to the woman. and her family's telling her you need to go because he keeps hitting you, he keeps beating you, and she's like, no, I love him. No, we're not talking about that, right? Because I don't condone any man putting his hands on a woman at all, right? Vice versa, I don't condone any woman putting her hands on a man or disrespecting him either. So it goes both ways. So when I say a relationship, I am talking about the ones where your family is trying to tear down the person you love, and you step in and you're like, no, I won't let this person be harmed, because if you harm them, you harm me. If you hurt them, you hurt me, and I don't want to see them hurt. Do you have a friend who, at the end of the day, even if you wrong them, and because you wrong them and you hurt them, you step up to the plate and you like, listen, I need to talk to you. I messed up. And by hurting you, it is hurting me, and I hate hurting you because it is hurting me. Do you have a friend like that? Can I ask you an even better question? Are you that type of friend? Are you the type of friend that has hurt somebody, has hurt someone? I have. Raise my hand, right? I've hurt people. I've done so. And there are some people who I will apologize to. Listen, I hurt you. I apologize for hurting you. And then there are some people who I consider a friend who I hurt them. I might break down in tears and just feel like garbage because I never meant to hurt this person. It was never my goal. And the fact that I did it and I hurt them and I know I hurt them is destroying me on the inside. And I just really want not only for them to forgive me, but for them to realize I would never do that again, right? I'll never do that again to you, because that felt so terrible. And so I'm asking y'all today, are you that type of friend? Do you have that type of friend? And if you don't have that type of friend, the question is, what type of friends do you have? Who's really in your camp? Who's really around you? When you pitch your tent and you at war and you look to your left and to your right, are you 100% sure that the person to your left and to your right are worth dying for? And are you 100% sure that the person to your left and to your right are people that will die for you? Are you 100% sure? Let's go a little deeper. Are you 100% sure that the person you married would go against even their own family, their own systems, their own customs, to look you in the eye and say, listen, I don't like what they're doing to you, because by coming against you, they're coming against me. And I am a firm believer that marriage is not just marriage, it is a friendship, right? And I tell this all the time, there's nothing wrong with marriage. People always say something wrong with the marriage. Nothing wrong with the marriage. What's wrong is with the people in it, right? The marriage is fine. It's the people in it. The car is fine. It's the battery, it's the transmission. We blame the whole vehicle, but the whole car ain't messed up. The car is fine. It's the things under the hood that we can't see. So the marriage is okay. It's the people in it, right? With that being said today, YouTube. If you want the short version of this, you can hop on over to TikTok, by the way. I just wanted to make this a little more in detail for you guys, because I think it bears, the question needs to be asked. Friends, how many of us have them? Ones you can depend on. Ones that look in the mirror and see you, and when you look in the mirror, you see them. I would advise some of y'all today, this is just me, I would trim the fat. What am I saying? I would go through my social media. I would go through my phone contact list, and I would look in it, and I would ask a simple question. How many of these people are actually my friends, right? Because you bragging, because you got, I got 100,000 people that are friends with me on Facebook. They're not really your friends. How many friends do you actually have? And then go through your contact list in your phone and ask yourself, how many of these people am I actually a good friend to? Not just who's a good friend for me. Not just who does things for me so I call them a friend. But what do I give back? What do I offer? Would I give up myself, my ways? Would I lay down my life? Would I lay down my heart to make sure that their heart and their ways can succeed? Are you that type of person for them? And are they that same type of person for you? I love using a vehicle analogy, because when it's all said and done, you might love the car, but if you're not putting gas in the car, then the car won't drive you somewhere. It's a give and take thing here. It is a reciprocal relationship, in which the vehicle requires something and it gives you back something else as well. The vehicle would give you its entire mileage and entire life to make sure you succeed, so long as you're willing to take a piece of your life, your money, and your time to make sure it can run correctly. How many do you have? And with that being said, YouTube, I'm gonna let you all go. But I do pray today that this helps somebody to look at their life and realize maybe I have something that shouldn't be a part of my life, or maybe there's something in my life that I shouldn't be a part of. Because everybody's not your friend. And I think that's the old school teaching that the old parents and people used to tell us. Them people ain't your friend. They not your friend, right? Everybody's not your friend. But you also got to be real and say, I'm not really a good friend to everybody. YouTube, y'all be blessed today. I want to tell you I appreciate y'all for everything that y'all do for me. I appreciate the people who have encouraged me to do these teachings and speak on these things. I appreciate that. Also, y'all, like I said, jump over to TikTok. If you don't like the long version, you can also jump over and listen to the small, the director's cut, right, edition of it, so you guys can get a quicker understanding of the lesson as well. With that being said, I'll be back in every day. I'll be posting every day for y'all. So hit subscribe, hit like, whatever it does. I don't know how you do it. I'm not really a great social media person, but I do know you hit subscribe and y'all can kind of see when I post. So hit subscribe. We'll be talking about a lot. Also, if you are on here and listening to this and you do have a question, you do have an opinion, I love talking to people. I love to hear what people have to say. Leave that down below. I will read it. I'll read it. I have no problem answering any questions. Be as positive as possible, y'all. Let's not be disrespectful, because I won't disrespect y'all opinion on what y'all think. But I really love to hear what people think. I love knowledge. So I always want to know what people think, or what they might be going through, or maybe you see it a little differently. And I would love to hear it. All that being said and done, y'all have a great day. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right, everybody.